Welcome to another Planning Beats video. Today we're going to have a look at client portal templates. These can be found in the settings and are a way to pre-build a set of questions, timeline and music requirements based on event type and different events that you do. This is a really cool system, and once set up will save you tons of time and provide your client with an amazing experience that throws away the traditional big long form individual timeline and then request sheet. We combine all of that in a really easy to use system that's supplemented by all the normal stuff you'll find in a CRM, like contracts, payment, booking services, and all that key stuff that we wish was in an app in one place where it's nice and easy to use. So in our continued journey to hit that goal, get people onto test, and really create a system that has been driven by the community, I'd like to introduce you client portal templates. And as always, if you have any questions, jump in the Inner Circle discussion group and let me know. So the first thing that we're going to do is go to the settings page, and then we're going to jump in to templates and client portal templates. Now there's a few things to be aware of here. We obviously have my templates, which will show you the ones that you've created, but there's also public templates where we'll be providing a large variety of different template ideas just to get you kick-started. You can duplicate these, use them as your own, and then tweak them for your business. But today I'm going to be talking about how we start from scratch and how we build a template and what that means and how that looks for you. So what we'll do first is just look at the add new template button. Really simple. You give it a name and then you give it an event type. The reason for giving it event types is you will be able to, when adding a client portal template to a booking, actually only see the ones that are related to that specific event type. So if you've got a wedding, it's only going to show your wedding related templates. Just makes things a little bit easier for you. One really key thing to note at this point is that you should start your templates with the bare minimum. What is the smallest template you're going to use? I would suggest that it is something with general song requests in there, a couple of sections for questions. It might be quite a small one that you use for small parties or events. If you start there, that means that you can then duplicate that right the way up into an all-day wedding. It will just save you time not having to duplicate and recreate things. So it's something worth bearing in mind and is the workflow to follow here. Now, I'm not going to spend much time on this screen, but I will let you know that obviously you can see the date you created the template. You can see the template type and title. You can also see the image used on the template. And up here, you can search for templates and you can filter them by event type. So nice and easy. In this example today, I'm going to jump straight into one that I've already made just to make life a bit quicker. So let's get in there by clicking on it. So I'm going to start in the top left corner with the image. This is something that you can upload and will come through when the template is loaded at the booking stage. So with this, you can either put a photo of your rig, you could put a photo of yourself, or you could create some custom artwork that maybe says, add a photo of you two here if it's a wedding, or if it's a party, add a photo of the birthday person or something like that. So I'll leave you to be creative as you can be with that. Then below we have the quick links. Now these quick links are exactly what the client will see, not what you see in the DJ Booking Manager. What you can do is toggle these on and off, so you can actually hide everything if you want, and then just use the timeline, music and questions. It's completely up to you. I think the most common will likely be to turn off things like the gallery and maybe the files. In this scenario, let's turn the gallery off because this template is not going to include a photo booth. What I'll do is I'll duplicate this template afterwards, add to the title, wedding template with photo booth, and I'll just turn that on. And that's what I meant earlier about making sure you do these things in a right order just to save yourself a bit of time. On all of these quick links here, the only one you can click on and get into is the general questions, because you can go into those general questions and add questions at this stage. I'm not going to go into that now, and I will show you a little later in the video how that works in all of the main sections. So for now, let's have a look at client portal template settings. This is something that's really important. So you have your client portal name, which we entered when we added the template. But you also have the automatic lockout. So how many days before the event date do you want the client portal to become a read-only system where all they can do is see what they've done and they can also make payments? So in this scenario, we're going to use 5 days before the event, and that just allows me 5 days to prep everything out and come to an agreement with the client that you need to have everything done in that time frame. We mentioned the photo earlier, and actually there is an option to stop the client being able to edit that. So totally up to you, and you can toggle that on and off here. Under that, we have new section settings. So just to clarify for you, the sections are these different elements down here that you can see. You can make as many of these as you like, and they're completely customizable. What you can do is allow your client or your event planner to actually add new sections. So you can toggle that on and off here. By toggling off, client can add new sections. It will remove the button in their client portal. You can also then allow the client to reorder sections or the event planner to reorder as well. So what you can do is basically allow them the functionality to drag and drop these different sections. It really does depend on how you're setting up your templates to as whether you want this on or not. But what is really important to understand is the song limit will be applicable if you're going to be allowing them to add new sections, because they will be able to add songs. Now, by putting a song limit in there, what it does is it predetermines every new section how many songs will be available in that section. So in here, we could put this to 0 and it would be none. Over here, we could put this to 0 and it would be no must plays as well. So if you set the song limit to 0, that will stop songs being available. And then obviously if you put it as 1, they'll be able to add 1 song for every new section that they add. So it's worth bearing that in mind. Under that, we have the client portal information. So this contact information is shown in the client portal using 2 buttons. You've got an email and a phone button. Great if they're on the mobile with the phone, because it will just ring you straight away. And you can dictate what phone number will be shown behind that button. So completely up to you. You could have a specific DJ, you could have your office, and you can change this up template to template. Finally, you have the venue and agent management area. Now, first of all, I think it's important to explain what this feature is. So a venue and agent management system is a tick box when you add a lead or a booking. If I very quickly show you now, we'll add a lead. And up here, you've got the venue/agent tick box. And as you see, when I tick that, it automatically opens the secondary client information. That's because your first primary client is going to be the venue or agent. They're going to be seeing a contract and a payment system that is for the main service, your main contracted service. And then down here, we're going to add the bride or the groom, or maybe both if you want to add another extra client down here. And that way they still get access to all the fun stuff. And what these settings do is they dictate whether the client or the venue can actually book additional services. So if we come out of that for a minute, down here we've got this client can book additional extras. So if you tick that, it's going to show them view and book extra services. Likewise, if you tick that for the venue and agent, they will also be able to do that as well. It really does depend on the setup you have with your venue or agent. We did a lot of research into this, and if you have a venue that says, hold on a minute, we're going to make some money on your extra services, in that case, obviously, the only people that will want to be able to book that is the venue and agent. Whereas if the venue just say, hey, we're not going to deal with any extra services, if you want to sell them a photo booth or uplighting, that's down to you. You can then tick the according box or toggle the according box. So yeah, a really cool feature and just another set of control for you. So once that's all complete, just hit save and that will save those template settings. One thing worth noting is if you're ever in a section, if you hit back, that will always take you back to the client portal template settings. This is only applicable in the template builder and is completely different out in the DJ Booking Manager and client portal. So just bear that in mind. Now we'll get into the main part of this system, which is the questions, songs, and playlist systems. So down on the left-hand side, we've got the timeline, which I've pre-built just to make life a little bit easier. What I've done here is I've actually inputted a time. So worth bearing in mind that you can either leave it so the client can put in a time, or you can actually pre-stipulate some times in here. And when you add that client portal template, it will pull that time automatically through. So really helpful if you know that this template is going to be used for a 7 p.m. start. In fact, to be honest with you, if this was a 7 p.m. start, it would be more like a 6 p.m. arrival. So you can just easily go in and edit those. And then again, last dance, if we know this template is fixed for a midnight finish, we can go and put that 11:55 time in there for the last song. So There's a bit of versatility there. You don't have to use it. You could just leave them all as add time. As I mentioned earlier, you can also drag these around, so worth being aware of that, and you can order them in whatever order makes sense. One thing to bear in mind is that at the moment the titles are actually missing. So titles are going to be a floating title, a little bit like this here, the timeline, music and questions, and you'll be able to put it somewhere here, wherever you like in the section. You'll be able to drag and move them around. You'll also be able to add a color to them as well. And that means you can just split this up even further, especially when you get into things like all-day weddings, and there's going to be quite a few sections there. So for this next bit, let's add a section. Let me show you how to do that. So hit add section. You can give it a title. You can add a description, and I'll show you where those appear shortly. You then have your manage section controls. Now this is really important because if you don't tick any of these boxes, the only people that will be able to see this specific section is your DJs and yourself in the business. Anyone who has access to the timeline will be able to view this in your company, but nobody else will. The client won't be able to, the event planner or guests or even vendors. So bear that in mind. The options you have are view section, edit section title, and delete section. So as an example, we're going to say that only the client can see this. They can edit it, but I don't want them to be able to delete it. Maybe we add the event planner in as well. So that's a really powerful set of controls that you just need to be aware of as you build these templates. Under that, we have probably the most crucial setting for a section, which is whether you want to see or don't see songs. As this example, I'll show you how to turn that on. Flick the toggle there, and then you have a request limit. Now this works very slightly differently to how our limit did in the client portal template settings. So just be aware of this, that if you hit 0 with turning songs on, what actually happens is you're going to set an unlimited amount of songs. So just bear that in mind. If you don't want them to be able to add songs, just simply turn that toggle off. So 0 is infinity, and then 1, 2, 3, etc. So in this scenario, let's say they can make 10 requests. And then same with the must play limit. If it's on 0, it won't show a must play button next to the songs. If it's on 1, it will allow them to have 1 must play and 5 and so on and so forth. So just a really easy way just to go and set the amount of songs that a guest or a client can request. Under that, we've got the times, questions and notes. These are just toggle on and off, really simple, and it will allow you to then add questions, add times, and also use the note system. Going back to that title option that I was discussing earlier, what you'll be able to do is go over here and hit title. You will have the title, you won't actually have description, this will be a color picker instead. You'll be able to save that and it will be that floating title. But if we close that, and I'll show you some that I have done already. So if we go into DJ setup, in here I have added some questions, and I did promise you that I'd show you where the description and the title sits within here. So you've obviously got your title over on the section. You've got your title up here, along with the time that's applied to it. And then you've got your description appearing here. Under that, the first thing will then be the songs if they are turned on. However, in this scenario, we don't have songs turned on and it's just questions. So I've added a few down here and messed around with them just to speed things up. You can drag these around and put them in whatever order you'd like. You can delete them on the fly here, but to actually edit and add songs, you need to click this button here and it will bring up this pop-up. Now, this is a really cool and simple system to use. What you can do is literally grab and drag and drop them wherever you like. You can duplicate, you can delete in here as well, and obviously we can reorder. What I'm going to do is just delete that one out for now and just talk you very quickly through the left-hand side. So you've got a description text, which if I just jump out of this, is this section here. We're going to change the icon not to be a question and more be an information marker, but it's got a coloured background and it will just stand out as a bit of information. So really helpful if you've got lots of questions and you just want to add some extra detail in there. Under that, we've got checkboxes. Really easy, go and add as many answers as you like. As you notice, you can use emojis wherever you like in this system. I've used them in the questions. I've also used them in the titles as well. We've got long text over here and short text as well. One thing that is worth bearing in mind is with all questions, you can add an image, a YouTube video, or a PDF. Here I'm just showing an example of an image. And also with all text box answers, you can add some client help text here. So how you finding the planning tool is the question. It is great, could be the help text, and that will then appear as normal forms do, nothing too complicated there. And then we've got make answer required, and you can toggle this on. And this is really important because unlike most traditional forms that force you to make an answer, this system won't actually do that. Because the idea is that your client can come in here and answer questions on the fly in their own time as they get more information, on the move, on their phone, all that kind of stuff. What we can't do is have it force answers, because it means if they've done 10 of the questions and number 11 they haven't got the answer for, but it's a forced required question, they can't save it and it's going to drive them up the wall. But what it does do is actually add a little label next to it that says required. That means that the client can see that, okay, this isn't an optional question. And it just means that all the other questions might then be optional. So something you can have a play around with. You can do things like bold out individual parts and italics and underline as well, worth noting in the titles if you want to make things stand out and pop a little bit more. The other options, so with checkbox, that is an individual tick answer, whereas multiple choice is literally, as you say, you can tick as many as you like. We've then got image upload, PDF upload, which is displayed here. And yeah, really simple way of doing things. I think the only thing that's worth bearing in mind is at the moment, you can't add individual images to each answer when it's checkboxes or multiple choice. You will be able to do that. It's not something that we've finished yet. I think it's going to be in the next 48 hours, but I really wanted to get this video out for everyone. So just bear in mind, you'll be able to do that as well. And that'll be really helpful for things like gobos and backdrops and letting clients pick certain different items within your stock. And at the end of it all, just make sure you press save and then you are good to go. But I'm not going to do that now. I'm just going to close it. And yeah, really easy. You can then just go and make as many sections as you like and add as many questions as you need. What I've done on the left-hand side actually is just an example of what I would use for an evening reception. So some key ones just to be aware of is the do not play section. I'd suggest you add that. You can jump in there and add questions and things like that. You've got last dance. You might do another last dance. So you might actually say you can have a surprise last dance as well. Late night bangers is quite a cool one for me, but is very applicable to what type of clientele you're working with, and also whether it's a wedding maybe or a party versus a corporate event. And then I guess the key one, which I want to show you now, is the general music requests. So if we go into here, you see there's my example with a YouTube video. I've got an example with a big image here and just some descriptive text. And this descriptive text here I think is really important just for you to be aware of. This is a really powerful system, and your client can add lots of music if you don't limit it correctly. So make sure, first of all, that you're limiting well when adding a section. But secondly, make sure you explain to them how you are going to work with them. And I think something like this is a great opportunity. So I've put in here that all music requests are used as a mood board. I will use your ideas, my knowledge, and crowd reading ability to create the perfect evening. You have 30 track requests and 10 must plays available in the general music section. So it's just really, really clear. Now, it's not the right image. You could come up with some really cool graphics there. But it's just a nice way to explain that, look, I'm going to play your 10 must plays, but everything else outside of that is down to me and my judgment. That might not be how you work, but it's how I do. And I just think it's very important to explain that to the client, as I'm hoping that this system will allow you to, I guess, drop the communication levels a little bit when it comes to music. Obviously, you need to be on top of stuff, and we're going to have automations and email systems and SMS systems and all that type of stuff. But this really should just be a case of the client can sit on their sofa and just add stuff. So nice and easy, and just make sure you take the opportunity to explain how this works. Right, enough about me babbling on about how you should run your business, because you all know how to do that. Let's get into the song system. So if you're a client or a DJ, but in most cases the client, when this is actually being used as a client portal template, you can go and add a song. So I'm going to show you that now. You jump in with add song, and you'll notice that you can import from Spotify. So if we go and do that, I'm not sure if it's going to work in the templates. Oh yeah, it is. So you can import, you can come in here, they can select all the songs. And one thing you'll note here is this had 59, right? So 59 of 30 have been selected. So they won't be able to import this. When they hit import, it's going to come up with an alert and say you can only import 30 songs. That's why it's super important that we've added individual ticking here. And you can see that count being added up. So once you do that, you hit import, and that will then pull it all through from Spotify, and your client will easily be able to add songs from their Spotify account. There will be an intermediate step where they'll have to connect and log in, and they'll only need to do that once, and then they'll have their account linked to their Planning Beats system. The other things that are coming in the initial release are YouTube import, so they can copy and paste a link, just like we are in the questions where we can add videos. They can do the same in the music if they need to find a song that's not on Spotify, because that's where our database is found. After that, in phase 2, we also have Apple Import as well, so they'll be able to import from Apple Music. And for the DJ, you can currently export Spotify, and we're going to be adding Tidal and Beatport or BeatSource into that as well. So yeah, some really cool stuff that's coming in the future, but initially import and export Spotify, and as well as the music automation system where you can go and match all your files to an M3U file and import it straight into your DJ software, but I'm not going to go there now. So yeah, import system worth being aware of. If we go back out of that, you've got the option just to normally search a song. So if we come in here and we go with, let's go with, this didn't work the other day, so let me test it. There we go, chasing status. So you have got an option here of going in and seeing the artist, or it will show you songs that are related to that name as well. So Chase the Sun is its first guess here because it's a song and it's not quite right. Quite a good example is Queen. So although you've got Queen here, it's actually pulled up Beyonce as well. That's quite funny. You've also got Dancing Queen because it's got the word Queen in it. So you've got the option to pick an individual song and add that. So you can go through and add that one song. Or you can go back, go into Queen, see all of their songs and add that. So we've got a little bit of work to do on the logic behind this. It just needs a bit of refining, and the team are working away on that at the moment, as well as the UI, because these images aren't quite right. But yeah, really easy way for your clients to go in and add songs. You can now see the songs here. So you've got a highlighted kind of title and the artist name. You've got that must play button because we've turned that on. So if we hit that, it will turn into one of their must plays. You've got an image of who's actually added the song, which is really important. And when you hover over that, it will display when that was added as well. For the DJ view, you've got a flag system, which will be very important when we get over into the matching music automatically system. You've got a like button, which is great for the clients and the guests. So you go and add that, and it adds one. You've got a comment system. This is a banger. Play it later. Oh, can't type. Oh well. And then that comment's added there, and it's gone green, so you can see that there's a comment. And all this data will pull out in the export event details right at the end of this process. So really, really cool little system for your client to use. Right now, though, because we're in templates, we don't want those, so we'll delete them. One thing worth noting as well is you can actually reorder those as well. You can drag them around just like the sections. So the other thing that you might have noticed is this playlist button. Now, when we add songs, you can see that there's a couple of music inspiration playlists here. And what we've done is we've actually added those based on the section. So if I close this and go into playlists, you can see down here, there's some Spotify playlists and the ones that I've added already. If I go and search, so I've searched Kistery, which is a radio station in the UK. Hit add, save that. And now they're all appearing. So if we click into these, the client can now look at playlists. So really easy way just to give your client some inspiration. And for me, the key thing was that you can give them inspiration based on the country you're in. So Kistery would be very applicable for the UK. I'm not sure that it's a radio station that's gone worldwide. But as an example, if we go back into playlists, I know I've got some Aussie customers, so just go straight in there, the best Australian songs. We can go in and view them if we want. Just make sure that, there we go, banger, down under. Go in and make sure that they are applicable and the playlist is right. It's always worth double checking because this is pulling Spotify playlists and public playlists as well. And then we go, yeah, we'll add that one, why not? Make it specific. Likewise, we've got the USA Top 100. Just going to add that and save. And now we can see all of these in here. So a really cool way to give your client inspiration, and one of the key reasons for this to be section based. If I now go down to a first dance, let's use that. So now what I can do is make them specific for that specific system. So you'll note in playlist here, I've got first dance songs, the best wedding songs of all time. We scroll down, what else have we got? 100 best first dance songs and ideas. I don't know why I've added the UK top 40 in here, just messing around. I say I did inappropriate songs to have for your first dance and funny first dance wedding songs. So it just means that you can make them specific to the section, and it just makes this system really versatile. Now, you can edit these on the fly as well. So all of these things that we've discussed today, client portal templates, the sections, you can add sections on the fly, you can change the times on the fly. This just pre-builds everything for you, but you can still manage all this individually on a booking by booking case. So say that you get a new section that you're going to add, fireworks as an example, that you don't usually have to take into consideration, and they want you to play some music. You could very quickly in the booking manager, so if we jump out now, and we go back, bookings, booking manager, I can very quickly add a section. Say that the client event planner, they can all see it and they can edit it. We're going to have songs on, sorry. I have an unlimited request and no must plays, just so I can show you that. We'll turn the time on. We won't put questions or notes on though, just so I can give you that example. So you can see we've got the infinity symbol now instead of a 0 out of 1 songs. By the way, this works the same for questions as well. So it will show you how many questions are in that section and how many have been completed. That is what is driving these percentages up here. And that will also link to the planning journey, which is your funnels basically. So you'll note that, I'm not sure if this is working at the moment, it's not, but as you change the funnels, it will essentially drop the percentage up and down of the planning journey, and it will also take into consideration the questions and playlists. So a really cool way of you, your team, but also the client seeing how far they are through their journey. Bit of a tangent there, sorry. But if we go and add a time to it, just to prove that we can do this on the fly. So this is going to be at 7 p.m. And we've got no playlists in here, but if we go fireworks sounds, save that, close that, and now when you add songs, they've got that there as a bit of inspiration. So you can do all this stuff on the fly. You can also come up here and edit the client portal template settings. So don't worry if you want to change the lockout time or make a tweak and say, actually, this client can't edit their photo or something like that. You can do that all. I didn't put questions on this time, so you can see that. And annoyingly, I just wanted to show you that you can add a question on the fly as well. Oh. I'll show you the markers required. So it needs a bit of a UI tweak, but that is what will appear, a little required question symbol. So yeah, everything can be done on the fly and really easily. The final thing to be aware of that I completely missed in the playlists is you can actually make your own playlists. So you can create and edit a playlist. We upload a photo. Use my normal test photo. And we do test playlist. You go into edit, you can now search songs and add them and actually build your own custom playlist. So you don't just have to use Spotify sourced stuff. If there's things that you can't find on Spotify, you can easily go and make your own playlist and then show that on all of the sections. Well, thank you very much for watching. We covered lots of things today and I hope it was really helpful. As always, please jump in the Inner Circle discussion group. If you're not in there already, join us on the website, hit sign up to become a tester, and you'll get a link to join the Inner Circle discussion. We ask that all of the questions and feedback is popped inside the group, just because it's a central place that I can check on and keep the community going. But also it means that other DJs can see your questions, your comments, and chip in, and we can get a real conversation going. So make sure you're in the Inner Circle discussion group, head onto the website, planningbeats.com, hit become a tester, and from there, once you've signed up, you'll get a link to join the Inner Circle discussion group. Thank you again, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.